We're live.
Says we're live.
We are live, ladies and gentlemen.
This is good.
It's official.
Episode number 4. Plot daily the physical layer of technology. Our live show on a weekly basis, and we have a packed agenda. Shout out to Toys, shout out to Brannon, shout out to the Bubble Factory. We have 2 sponsors to shout out. First sponsor is this show is brought to you by Terrakotta, the AI prospecting platform for commercial real estate brokers, investors, and service providers. When you don't know who to call Terrakotta to make your calls. Also, brought to you by Lev. Lev is the platform that is helping commercial real estate professionals become superhuman in our industry. They build apps, agents, and data on a unified platform to help commercial real estate companies grow. You can find their links in the description after the live episode. And we're stoked to have 2 sponsors.
We are. We're getting our traction, I think, right? Just better each time is really what 100%. It is. Baby steps. I think we did pretty good this morning. It was kind of chaos, I'm not going to lie, just a couple minutes ago. For whatever reason, Clifton's early. Clifton, we're a little early. Clifton is in the studio a little bit early. Hang on one second, guys. This is the technical difficulties that we're talking about. Clifton, we're supposed to go live 9:30. So you're about 30 minutes early.
Always punctual.
Always very punctual. But hang on. There we go. Okay. All right. There we go.
Special guest.
Little tease for what's to come. Clifton Harness, CEO of TestFit. He runs early.
Yeah, we'll rip through the agenda here, but today we have a packed show. So first story is we're going to be looking at autonomous delivery networks that could change the value of retail and logistics networks. So we're talking about delivery drones and sidewalk robots, which are moving from pilots towards real logistics networks. We're then going to get into California, how it's been leading the AI economy while losing the infrastructure beneath it, right? California has attracted an extraordinary amount of America's AI investment, but power, water, permitting, grid capacity may determine where the physical infrastructure gets built, and we're already seeing signs of that in other states. And then we should be being joined by Clifton Harness, the CEO and co-founder of TestFit. He's the man. He's very excited to have him on.
Super good dude. We were supposed to have another guest.
We won't shout him out.
We're
disappointed.
We wanted him. We'll get him next week.
And lastly, we're going to be covering autonomous excavators and equipment that are already moving dirt live on a construction project.
I think the big idea is physical AI.
Physical AI.
Physical AI.
Plot the physical layer of technology.
Yeah, that's right. Or property land operations and technology, but
have we not
No, we decided physical layer of technology. I think it's here to stay.
I like it. At first I didn't understand it, but now I do.
Yeah. No, it's awesome.
It flows off the tongue.
It's really awesome.
Two shout outs, just upcoming events that we're hosting. So this Wednesday, August 26th at 10 a.m., we are hosting a webinar from AI pilot to AI production, and we'll be joined by Cindy Mitchell, the head of lease transition from Cressa, a leading national and global brokerage focused on occupier services, where she will be taking us through how Cressa runs AI through their clients' global portfolios. And we'll also be joined by Mohammed El-Gendi, the CEO and co-founder of Kalena, one of our favorite companies here at the AI for Siri Collective, where we will be talking about turning your document-heavy workflows into automated operations. So Kalena is AI for knowledge and document work. And then we have another webinar coming up in September.
Procore.
The
800-pound gorilla.
The leading construction software and management company. Wednesday, September 9th at 11 a.m. PT, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. where we'll be discussing the future of capital portfolio management for commercial real estate owners and operators. We will be joined by Eliza Marsh. She is the Senior Director of Product Management for commercial real estate owners at Procore, and Tom Fiel is the Director of AI Growth and Strategic Sales for Procore. We're going to be looking at how intelligent capital, PMIS, can connect data, teams, and workflows across the capital life cycle and give owners greater visibility into their portfolio performance, which is pretty cool because as a construction management company really focused on commercial real estate, they're making a huge pivot. And then we'll be showing how Procore AI can put that connected data to work, helping teams find information faster, surface risks earlier, automate manual workflows, and make more informed decisions. Funny enough, one of Procore's, their biggest clientele, I learned, is actually commercial real estate owners and operators, not folks in construction.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. 99.9% sure.
News to me. Don't forget your boy's going to be in New York City next week. And
we're traveling.
We're on the move.
Is becoming global.
I absolutely hate flying. You know that? I have to be every single time. I have to be at the airport hours in advance as well. And so it's funny, as we were booking meetings, my flight out of New York was I think it's for 2 p.m. Pacific Standard, so that's 5 p.m. New York time. And someone wanted to book a meeting with me at 10 a.m. and I was thinking to myself, that's too late. I got to get to the airport. I have to be there early. That's just the way I am. And if I could figure out how to share my screen on this thing, unfortunately, we do. Well, there's quite a bit of slop. New segment. We're going to be rolling out slop of the week.
Slop of the week.
I might actually I'm going to try it, guys. Don't give me a hard time. I am going to try and get it into this studio right now. And I'm going to try and share my screen because what I have prepared for you guys for slop of the week, I think is pretty awesome. So without further ado, okay, I will start. Without further ado, we got slop of the week. Who's ready? Who is ready? Thank you. Thank you. We got slop of the week.
We
got Mr. Quinn Edwards walking his pet zebra on Rodeo Drive, looking like he owns Rodeo Drive. We got
what is the audience seeing this?
I believe the audience can see this. Okay. Audience, if you can't see this,
what was that? What was the thought behind the image?
I don't know. Your suit and you got your suit on, and I was thinking just zebras are a little bit high end. You're the king of Beverly Hills. It's the slop of the week.
Let's see that again.
We got slop of the week. Each week we're going to be doing new slop.
So I know he came up with this segment, but I didn't know that slop of the week was meant to create images of the other co-host.
I didn't either.
I related my slop to plot, but I guess maybe I'll show that later in the show because it might be more relevant than me walking down Rodeo with the zebra.
Yeah. Anyways, I hope that worked. By the way, I don't know if that was sharing my screen or not.
Toy and Brandon are signaling.
I think we were sharing our screen, which is fantastic. Slop of the week. We're gonna get better at that one, I think.
That's slop.
Yeah. I wish you could show yours, but we don't really know how to do that.
I'll send mine to you, and then we can. You know what? Why don't we do that now?
Yeah. If you're in New York City, I will be there next week. I arrive Monday. If you want to meet, just don't do Thursdays because I need the whole day to prep for my flight. That's just who I am. Yeah. But I would love to meet with you. So let's get into it.
You want to share my slops? I sent them to you.
Would you text it to me?
Yeah.
It's kind of a whole ordeal.
Okay.
If you really want to, I'll try.
We can save it for the end.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's jump into it. Autonomous delivery. I've had the pleasure of speaking with one of the drone companies that Zipline. Okay, they've partnered with Uber Eats. Their goal is to do 1 million drone deliveries per day. Okay, per day. They've done about 2.7 million total.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get into the details with Zipline in just a second, but what we're going to talk about just now is how autonomous delivery in the last 6 months has really just taken off. So you have Zipline partnering with Uber Eats. You have DoorDash getting their FAA certification to fly drones.
Yep.
You have
they're only the 8th or 9th company, I believe.
Yep.
Okay.
You have Coco Robotics, which for those of you guys that live in LA, I don't know if they're elsewhere. I think they might be.
Yeah, I have
Coco Robotics.
I have some funny slop on that too, actually.
Yeah, which I wish we could pull up on the screen. You got Coco Robotics that is now partnered up with Little Caesars Pizza for autonomous delivery.
Pizza.
And also Amazon with Prime Air is going from 11 existing cities to 500 by the end of 2026. So all of a sudden, somebody just lit a fire under the whole autonomous delivery initiative. And I think what people don't realize is just how quickly and sort of behind the scenes this stuff is happening. And there's definitely a commercial real estate angle to all of this, which we're going to get into in just a moment. Okay. But just to break that down for you guys. So Zipline, they've really mastered the infrastructure. Okay. They don't necessarily have the distribution, which is why they partnered up with Uber Eats, who immediately has that distribution, right? Uber Eats, DoorDash, among two of the biggest food delivery platforms that are out there. Uber Eats smart, right, by saying we're not going to build this infrastructure already. We're going to tap into the company that's already doing the best job of it. Okay. Zipline's drones, and dang, I wish we could share videos showing exactly how these work. I'm going to try and visualize this for you guys. Okay. So you have this drone, and what Zipline's effectively done is they have taken over excess parking at shopping centers. Okay. And they have put these docking stations, which
landing pads, essentially.
They're not so much landing pads, and without showing it, I'll try and just verbally describe it. Okay. But you have, let's just say a 10-foot wide by 30-foot long area with a couple of these docking stations. They're, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 feet tall. And they have these pods, right, which these drones are constantly coming in and out of. It's honestly awesome. These drones are fully autonomous. In other words, there is no human behind the scenes operating these. Okay. It is completely AI.
Different than Coco Robotics, who has
very different.
A guy behind the scenes, playing Xbox with the little controller.
Yeah. Which is impressive. And the guy I talked to at Zipline says they've fully rebuilt their company to become AI native. There's no human operators. These things fly about 300 feet in the air. But what happens is they have this little pod that comes out of the drone, and it's attached to this sort of like zip line. Okay. And they could drop it anywhere with precise accuracy. Okay. But the way that they receive these items, whether it's food, pharmacy, medical, it doesn't matter. Okay. They have these little pod stations on the ground, and these are very small. Okay. So think of like a McDonald's, for example. Outside of that McDonald's, at let's just say a shopping center, they have this little pod. Okay. And so if you're the McDonald's worker, you go to that pod, you drop the thing in, the drone will come, it'll drop its little thing down, it'll pick it up and be on its way.
So there is some software then that the retailer has to coordinate with Zipline.
Well, yeah. So the logistics behind it this is Zipline specifically, right? Are just that you have these pod stations, and they're very small.
By the way, I think you can share your screen. I think it works. I just got a little birdie behind the scene, just maybe flagged me down.
A little birdie.
Little birdie.
Is that birdie's name Brandon?
Yeah. Tweet. Pizza.
Yeah.
Little Caesars is terrible.
I am not going to use the platform to talk badly about pizza because I love pizza.
Okay.
I'm a Domino's guy, which directly
conflict.
Well, I was going to say people would probably say Domino's and Little Caesars are equivalent. And so, no? Oh.
I think Domino's is good.
Did you know Little Caesars is the third largest pizza chain in the world? Did you know that?
No.
So the fact that Coco, little robot, right? That's massive distribution. Okay. But just to close the loop on the zipline story, right? So these pods, okay, are becoming essential infrastructure for sites. And in fact, right, you have a lot of these build to suit developers building, drive through, fast food, etc. Ziplines trying to be a part of that process, right? As they build these sites, they want to have these pods part of the planning. Okay. And let's just say you have a Taco Bell drive through, right? I think what they want to have is 2 pods just right outside that drive-through, and what will happen is that the drone will be able to come in, boom, be on its way. And obviously, they're targeting areas with a lot of retail, right? So shopping centers are the perfect place to have a lot of this drone infrastructure. You have excess parking. You oftentimes have grocery, right? Grocery anchored sites, which grocery stores are incredible, right? Because not only do you have food, you have medicine, you have supplies, etc. If you have an emergency, you run out of toilet paper at home, for example, you can toilet paper on its way, sort of thing. There's so much that can be done, but standard ground lease is how these is how it would work. So whatever.
Do you know what the terms are on this lease? Did they share it all?
No.
Like the length, what like rates are like?
No, but just market ground lease terms, whatever that might be in whatever area. Zipline, I think, is pretty active in Fort Worth, and in areas of Texas.
I'd be curious how the delivery works in very dense urban markets like in New York, having drones flying around the city, versus like suburban pockets of Texas, right, where everything's flat, lower rise buildings.
Well, that's why Coco's especially interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not really flying in the air.
That focuses more on these really dense urban pockets.
Right. And then the question becomes like with Coco, for example, right? You're not having to wait for delivery drivers. You're not having to pay delivery fees to some extent. I imagine robotics would be cheaper. And so the question becomes, where does that incremental savings or excess profit, like where does that land up? Is it just that the store is making more money as a result? Is it because more sales, possibly more rent to the landlord, right? Is it that the robotics company is just raking it in for whatever reason? So there's a lot of different things to think about, but I think the biggest is just that these retailers can and it looks like we have slop of the week back on the screen. No longer. I think the problem with sharing the screen is just that there's 2.
Turn it off for now.
So there's 2 screens that kind of go in. So it says nothing on stage yet, versus the full screen. I don't know how to change that. Brandon, you see? It says so it's showing nothing on stage yet. Sorry guys, we're learning technical difficulties. Does it just go away? I'm out of the thing. But anyways, let's just continue on here. So the question becomes, right, these retailers are servicing a trade area, right? Let's just say it's 30,000 households. The question becomes, with drone delivery, robotics delivery, autonomous delivery,
can you service more customers?
Can you service 50,000 households?
Yeah.
Right. And if you're servicing 50,000 households, right, is that more sales per store? And because of more sales per store, does that mean more rent per location, right? So our values to go up through all of this. And I don't think it's
all these owners are going to try to get like percentage rent.
Yeah.
On these drones.
Look, this is changing the game, no doubt about it. But I don't think this is just like, hey, every order is going to be effectively a drone delivery or an autonomous delivery, right? It's all logistics at the end of the day, right? And so does it make sense for each order to just have a human, right? Does it make sense to use Coco in the driving little robot thing? Does it make sense to actually have a drone?
That's a good, I wouldn't say segue, but just another topic to discuss as we talk about the impact of drones, right, is the cost. Because there's no way right now that it's significantly cheaper to do a drone delivery than it is to have a human, right? I think the stat is McKinsey model estimated a cost of approximately $13.50 per delivery when one person monitors one drone. But that estimate can fall significantly if you have a single individual monitoring 20 drones, right, to $1.50 to $2, which in that case at scale makes it incredibly more efficient than having human drivers as your delivery mode.
Yeah. And the other thing we didn't really touch on, but Prime Air.
Yeah.
I'm really, really fired up about. And so just again, to summarize,
just give some color on Prime too, because that's Amazon.
Yeah, that is Amazon, right? Which they are absolutely destroying it. My wife, just this morning, by the way, I left the house. She already had 2 Amazon packages. And so I was starting to think about math. Like, honestly, I don't know how many people are in the US, 300 and whatever million people. My wife getting 2 packages before I left the house at like 7:30 a.m. this morning, probably 5 total in the day. Amazon is just like, it's just ridiculous. But point being, okay, Prime Air is a project I think they initially introduced in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been over 12 years.
And I have some thoughts on that after you go here.
Are you talking about my wife getting 5 packages every single day?
No, I'm talking about Amazon's last mile delivery service network, but we'll get into that.
Let's get into that, right? But Prime Air, I think over 13 years old at this point, it makes a ton of sense, right? Just and they've done an incredible job, Amazon, at just speeding up delivery. Like the other day, I ordered some new solar powered lights for my house, which I've had an obsession with.
Plot is wearing off on you.
I have a huge obsession. I'm a first time homeowner now. I have a huge obsession with. Thank you. Thank you. I love these solar powered lights. I'm putting up them all over my house. And I did put up these stringing lights around my tree. I did a horrible job. I posted on LinkedIn. I got a lot of shit for it. My wife practically pissed her pants when she saw it for the first time. But anyways, I ordered these lights on Amazon probably about 6 p.m. at night. And I got them like at 7 a.m. the next day. So they're doing an incredible job. Now, the question becomes with drones, can that turn into 30-minute deliveries? And I think that's the goal, right? But so they have 11 different cities, 11 different facilities at this point, Amazon, where drone delivery is happening. Okay. By the end of 2026, they want to have 500.
Yep.
And so the idea, right, just like Zipline, is you have this drone and it'll, did you have a thought? You were excited about something.
I was going to just share that Amazon believes that each one of those facilities can cover approximately 175 square miles.
175 square. So I'm trying to think of that in terms of like relative size. That's not that big. Meaning that they're going to need a lot of these facilities, right? But I think the conversation around just last mile facilities is to change with drones, right?
Well, the interesting story here, which neither of us know because we're not in the weeds of Amazon.
I might know. Try me.
But Amazon has this unique network, right, where they have these big box distribution centers, and then from there, right, a lot of the deliveries and the products get shipped to these last mile facilities. And the question becomes, if Prime Air has been in the works since 2015, Bezos and Amazon has been thinking about this as it relates to their last mile facilities. So although it might seem to like the common folk and like the easy eye that last mile was always planned for the driver, behind the scenes, it must have always been planned for drone delivery. And I'm curious if their current last mile facilities now are already suited for drone delivery.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. Yeah, so think of these just massive facilities where you have like these little truck depots, but instead maybe it's more suited for drones.
Well, it's different, right? They have these big box distribution centers, but then they also have these smaller, I don't know how big they are, maybe they're 10,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet, last mile delivery centers in urban cores so they can deliver lights to you within 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So curious, I mean, I would imagine, because I've never seen one, but they must already be fitted out for drones.
Yeah. I'm thinking about just how crazy it sounds to eventually be able to order something, right? Whether it's a want or need, it doesn't matter. Okay. And have it delivered within 30 minutes. That is insane, right? For medical reasons, that's absolutely insane, right? Say you have a diabolical headache, a migraine, right? And you have no Advil, no Tylenol, or I don't know if people are still taking Tylenol after the whole fiasco that happened, by the way. But right, being able to get that delivered in 30 minutes and not moving, right? Super interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Emergency toilet paper. Super interesting, right? Just so many different use cases. So, I don't know when 30-minute deliveries will become a reality. but I imagine it's happening a lot quicker than people think. The whole autonomous infrastructure as it relates to delivery is happening right in front of our eyes and very quickly. Uber Eats, a company that does an absurd amount of deliveries every single day, is partnering with one of the most advanced autonomous drone delivery operators in the world with an ambitious goal of doing 1 million deliveries by 2029.
A day.
Excuse me. Yes, per day.
365 million deliveries.
Absurd. It's very ambitious. I'll give him that. Based on what I've seen with my wife and the amount of packages she gets, and I do think it's possible, no doubt. She's the best consumer I've ever met. But no doubt about it, industrial real estate is going to be affected.
So as we wrap this up, this good segment before our boy Clifton comes on, how should commercial real estate owners be thinking about all this? We talked about percentage rent. We talked about location, gross sales going up at each potentially going up for these retailers. If you're an owner, what do you take away?
Yeah, look, I think the last mile or last 50 feet is something to be mindful of, right? If you're an apartment building owner, you have tenants, all of a sudden drone delivery is in the equation, right? How do you think about getting that merchandise from drone outside of your building to the resident, right? So amenities to some extent will need to be considerations, whether it's like your traditional Amazon lockers or a doorman or a little launch pad or on the roof, right, of your apartment building. Maybe it needs to be retrofitted. So I think the last 50 feet, so to speak, for a lot of the urban residential assets, like that's going to be the challenging part of this. If you're an owner, though, I think you just smile and wave at this point, right? Just this is happening. Good things are happening. These operators, like if you have a solid site, a shopping center, a retail site that is just an incredible trade area that services the surrounding community, eventually they're coming. And if you have excess parking, then it's the perfect recipe to consider. And if you are a fast food operator, if you just own a just call it single tenant site, for example, I don't know the economics. I can't imagine they're going to pay you much for like these pods that I described earlier with Zipline to go on your site, but it's a no-brainer, right? If you can get this pod on your site for these drones to operate, then there's a good chance your tenant could start to see some more sales as a result of this, right? Just boom, boom, boom. So I think it's a very exciting time. No doubt. I think people have no clue just how quickly this stuff is moving. It's happening behind the scenes. I might come out and just predict that myself, Jake Heller, will by the end of 2026
own a drone.
No. Be able to order a burrito from my place and get it delivered by drone. That's my prediction. Could be wrong. That is how quickly this stuff is moving. In Amazon Prime Air, it's going to take off like a rocket ship, maybe not the second half of this year, but the next year. And, I think people are a little hesitant towards it. They're expecting perfection with this stuff, but just be grateful. It's coming. 9:30.
Clifton.
Are we live?
Hey. You all hear me?
Live?
Clifton Harness.
Do we have audio? Whoa.
I don't know. Do y'all hear me?
No audio yet. Hang on, Clifton. We had this problem last week. I think we just got to turn the TV volume on. Bear with us, sir. Testing?
All good.
There he is.
Test.
We hear you.
Y'all hear me?
We see you. He's wearing a puka chain, it looks like.
You're looking
Cliffy.
good.
Clifford, Clifton. What can we call you today?
Cliff is fine.
Cliff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're grateful to have you, man. And as you know, we're big fans. I don't know if you got to tune into what we were just talking about, but whole drones and autonomous delivery, and I think that's pretty relevant for what you guys are doing as far as like site feasibility and what all that could look like. Maybe a conversation for another time, but just for the audience here who maybe don't know who you are, give us the quick skinny on TestFit, what you guys are focused on and doing.
Sure. No, so last mile is a great introduction to this problem, which is like, it's very difficult for capital allocation, for people trying to make investment decisions. Like, how do you get to the level of detail of risk reduction all the way down to where the door to a unit really is? A lot of the future economy depends upon how we leverage autonomous systems effectively to solve societal problems. And like, that's kind of what we do at TestFit. We take finance, construction, design, regulations, we crunch the numbers. We focus heavily on livability, like what kind of building can actually get built here. And we do all of that with, automatic systems that right now are available for anyone to use over MCP. You can also use it manually, like a human would. So, I don't know, is that an okay introduction? Now I can't hear you, man.
No?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I was just saying you're the stoic of our time. You're the stoic of commercial real estate. But to take a step back for folks who might not be entirely familiar with who you are, Clifton, you're the CEO and co-founder of TestFit, a real estate feasibility platform that helps developers, architects, and contractors test site plans, parking, density, cost, and constructability in real time. And you released an MCP recently.
We did, yeah. After, I don't know, 10 years of building automation manually and training people manually and trying to create, I don't know, a market for instant site planning information, AI is enabling us to do that mission significantly faster and to open up kind of what we've built to anybody that's interested in getting a site plan or a concept figured out without the need of going through a bunch of brain damage, hiring 15 consultants. It's a real drain, I think, on real estate, the constant pursuits. I think AI is real helpful, getting you to a place where you can say yes and no a lot faster, or prioritizing your time a whole lot better.
Maybe you can give an example, Clifton, on like what can a developer understand about a site in 10 minutes today that might have taken them a week or longer and cost a boatload of money, which now today costs nothing with TestFit.
So TestFit's geared towards institutional size deals. So if that's kind of your sweet spot, I would say you can get nearly a schematic design package in about 15 minutes. But you could probably also get 30, different schematic design packages within 20 minutes. So it's trying to grow the possible solution space from, you get 2 iterations of a site plan per deal to 20,000. And, finance has GoalSeek and Excel. And that's, kind of what we're building for how the built form wants to be constrained to be a product that's sellable.
Can you speak to what happens with the MCP server? Can people just connect to TestFit through Claude, through ChatGPT or whatever, and start using it? Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, get it installed on your machine, Claude Code or Claude Cowork or ChatGPT. It just talks to it, and and the setup is, I don't know, 2 minutes. It's incredible. I think that, you can probably go from not knowing anything about, how land use works to having significantly reduced, proposal in like 10 minutes without any training. And the MCP enables that. Though I will say, if like you get training, it, will inform you a bit more about how to leverage the MCP. 10 minutes. Easy.
Was it from customer feedback, or were you guys thinking that just, hey, we got to figure out how to get connected to the large language models where people are spending majority of their time? What was sort of the motivation, deciding factor for you guys to get that set up?
So you're managing a lot of consultants in development. You've got 15 stakeholders that all have different perspectives on what's important, and we've been building feasibility tools for about a decade, and we've received feedback from real estate development, which sometimes is like finance, and operations feedback. So you build tools for them, and then architecture wants stuff that's nearly the opposite of what development wants. They always are driving for more creativity and things like that. So you go and support them, and then on the construction side, how big is the building? What does it cost? So you got to go build tools for them. So that is to say, like, in order to get to a place where a deal is solvable within an automated system, we had to go serve a lot of professions, and that sort of creates a camel. Like we're serving too many people. We're not really serving anyone incredibly well. And I think the parallel is that we kind of considered the building to be our customer, and we wanted the building to be successful. And if the building is successful, then the team around it, the deal team, everybody gets fed. So I think before it was really, how do we get a bunch of different players to try to play in the same environment? And here it's, the value of collaboration is that, like, any one of those people that's on like a corporate deal team, which is, we're a developer and we work always with this architect over here. It's a risk reduction strategy. Anyone can start to propose deals. Anyone can read a pro forma. Anyone can see, the quantities. Anyone can see, design parameters that show unit mix percentages, or, tenant sizing, how big are my spaces. So I don't know if that answers the question, but like, real estate's so complicated that building a single interface for it is not really possible.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I think there's a lot of other companies, not going to name names, that for whatever reason just aren't interested in connecting to Claude or chat. But my vision for the future is really just one command center, almost, which you can communicate with and draw in all of your data, all of your different tools. And so you're not jumping through all these different interfaces, right? I could be totally wrong. I could be, but I think
it's the human condition is to want to be like, I'm a human and I provide value. We're kind of made to work. And so, when you come in with automation tools for people that have made millions of dollars doing, deals and working real estate in the hard way, which is a relational business, it's very hard for people to consider, like, well, my identity is now not tied to the work I'm doing, And I think the great promise here, Jake, is it's outcomes oriented. And I think I'm so stoic because, like, the frame of how AI is going to completely change real estate has already hit my mind. And I'm not, it's not the same industry. It cannot be the same. everybody created a lot of value on information and asymmetry. And like, I don't know if that's necessarily going to continue. So things that were moats in real estate are different. Yeah.
Where does the value lie now, Clifton, as it relates to just
in execution?
Yeah.
In execution and taking a risk and getting it done, I think is like the ultimate moat. For a time, there's going to be, lots of things that sit on top of the software tools that other people are using. But I think in the long run, everything will push towards what is the outcome for this building. And that, I think it transitions real estate from a hunting, mentality into farming. And the only sort of farming entities in real estate today are, on the operations side. And, we haven't seen that happen to development.
Could you maybe give us a quick glimpse into the roadmap for you guys? Any new exciting stuff coming through the hopper, or is it sort of all systems go with what you're doing currently?
Yeah, it's how do we retrain our existing user base, our existing, corporation. TestFit's got 30 people working here into AI thinking. And how, so it's education most of the time. It's similar to what you guys are doing, which is like, hey, you could choose to be miserable and do all these tasks, which is what you've been doing, or Command Center can kind of change all the tasks into things that your strengths are outlining. I think, on the tech side, like we're just going to continue to dazzle in awe because like the MCP is just the tip of the iceberg. Like watching Quinn use the software gave us a lot of ideas on how to drastically improve getting to a place where the human understands spatially why a site can't do something. And, right now the feedback is like, it just fails to show you anything. So I think it's, pro forma automation to the nth degree, costing automation to the nth degree. We've got Mark coming on in a second. It's comp automation. It's like really it's all of the machinery you need to transition real estate from a hunting mentality into farming. And we'll do it, based off of customer feedback.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Mark's not coming on. We're sad about it, but next time. All that makes sense, though, Clifton. We appreciate you coming on and giving us the wisdom as always. We're big fans of yours. I know a lot of other people are as well, and excited to just see what you guys learn from the different use cases through Claude and chat and how people are sort of thinking about that. So it's no doubt an exciting time for you guys, but thanks for joining us.
I must ask Clifton before you go though, those art pieces are painting on the wall on the ground that's not on the white walls. When are those going up and what are those?
This is a industrial facility with 18-wheelers. And so my goal with these, they were hanging in the old office, like right in the front area, and the new office doesn't have a front area. But I wanted for every day when I walk, in the office, to remember specifically the kind of buildings that we are trying to help, and we're trying to innovate, and we're trying to get to a place where they can be so much more than just a commodity building. And, so we used an incredibly expensive rendering system, I think it was like in 2022. So you couldn't use AI rendering, to do this. And, Yeah, I just haven't hung them up yet.
Well, the next time we see you, we hope to see those on the wall.
But we hope to have AI rendering integrated, so you don't even have to leave TestFit to get sexy, deal popping, amazing looking imagery. So perhaps that's the next goal, is to trash those and just show what we can do natively.
Awesome. Well, exciting stuff, sir. We'll see you next time.
All right. See you guys. Sorry I Kool-Aid manned you earlier.
No, that was honestly awesome. Everything's a learning lesson for us. So no, it's cool. Rolling with the punches.
Absolutely.
We'll
all
see
right.
you next
See you
time.
guys.
See ya. Bye.
Buildings have feelings too.
That's true. We need to get a quote book for you.
I know. What was last week? Chips need a home.
Chips need a home. Forget what else. But yeah, a little bit of an echo here. Wow. The technology stuff involved with this is like, it's ridiculous. It is so hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
It's not easy.
Let's move on, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Should we talk California? Whew.
Let's do it. California, right?
Yeah.
Built AI.
That's right.
But
I didn't know that 90% of the U.S. total in venture funding was California. California companies. California companies raised approximately $366 billion in venture funding during 2026, so year to date, right? About 90% of the U.S. total. Granted, OpenAI and Anthropic make up about half of that, so that's a very large number. But and also, right? So AI companies received 86 cents of every venture dollar invested in the state.
Yeah, so 90% of all venture funds, California. AI companies, 86 cents on every dollar. Yeah, it's a crazy stat.
It is a crazy stat. What we're going to talk about today, though, is just the physical layer in all this, right? California remains the absolute powerhouse for AI. AI was effectively created in California. It is the holy mecca, right? AI HQ exists in Silicon Valley. It will remain in Silicon Valley. All the talent, all the capital, everything is there. The question becomes, does California also want to be the mecca for the infrastructure, the factories, and everything associated with servicing that AI, right? So we are shifting effectively from AI being software to AI being physical.
Yeah, I think California is already the third largest data center market.
With active data centers.
Yep. Behind Texas and Virginia.
Right, which I didn't know. That's pretty impressive, especially because I want to say almost 80% of adults in California through a survey basically said no way data centers. Right, California is one of the most progressive, regulatory environments ever. So a little surprised to see all the active data centers. But what's equally as interesting is that there was a research report, and California only has 54 planned data centers in the pipeline, and compared to Virginia at Texas. 287, 170 in Texas, 141 in Georgia, and 86 in Arizona. It's sort of falling down the list, right? The question just becomes, does California want to absolutely dominate both the AI brain, right, the software, et cetera, associated with AI, and also the infrastructure and real estate that's needed to serve that AI? And I'm starting to get the sense, just no. Right?
Well, wanting and being able to are also two different stories, right? Because there's a ton of constraints here in California, which make it just very difficult to build the infrastructure. Power, water,
regulation,
all of it.
Yeah, there's a ton of new bills on the floor, I think, as we speak. One of which is trying to effectively tariff, right, these data center facilities. But the big goal for California is to avoid having the burden, right, whether it's increased electricity costs or tax, whatever it is, right, go to residents, the end users, the consumers, which makes sense. I get it, right? So they're trying to really
We're already the most expensive state to live in.
Oh yeah,
and everyone's like, stop.
Please. No, so I get it. I get it on one hand. But yeah, you're starting to see a lot more planned data centers in areas where it's a little bit easier, it's quicker. You're not having insane community opposition, right? There's some serious soldiers on the front lines here in California with their
signs and everything.
They're crazy people, right? Yep. We see it all the time.
There's a bridge above the 101 freeway on the way to the office.
Oh, I know.
You know that bridge.
I drive past it every single day.
Me too.
That is called the San Fernando Valley Brigade.
The group.
Yes. They cause traffic every single morning. I am pissed about it.
They call themselves rush hour resistance.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That is so good.
I can't think of any group who I despise more than that.
Standing up to fascism, one overpass at a time. Clear, bold, pro-democracy messages seen by thousands daily. Join us. Click below to sign up. Rush hour resistance.
I see them set up every single morning. Okay. Anyways, the ambitions from groups like that, and I mean, we've seen recently there was a national data center protest.
Yep.
So this is not just a California issue happening anymore. This is a national issue.
Where does the misconception lie? I understand that there's, a potential cost burden that people aren't certain about that becomes worrisome for them, right?
Massive issue.
Right. That's one.
Water, right? Oh, they're going to take all of our water.
Yeah. Two. Power,
everything, right? I mean,
just the looks of these data centers, are they visually unappealing? Right. I'm struggling to understand, and maybe it's naivete from us just talking about and learning about this stuff and doing it every day.
I would bet these people have no clue.
They have no idea.
They have no clue, and it's just it's fashion for them. It's almost culture, right? Oh, look, like now instead of protesting this garbage, we're going to go protest
other
this,
garbage,
right? And look, I think these data centers are just becoming more efficient, more environmentally friendly over time. Obviously, these data centers
job loss. That's a concern.
Job loss and job creation, right? From actually building these things. Big issue too around skilled labor for these data centers as
Huge
well.
issue.
And I think that's starting to drive where these facilities are getting built. I was reading some crazy statistics. I'm trying to think about it off the top of my head, but call it, 1 million, however, in a million plus in skilled labor. And then take out a percentage that aren't really associated with mechanical, electrical, plumbing, right? Trades that are needed for these data centers. If you have that, pull it up. And then only a small percentage of that, so call it like 700,000 is capable, or
1.8 million trade workers. Only 790,000 can build a data center. 30% of those individuals, 30% of the 790, live where 70% of planned projects are going.
In the middle of nowhere, essentially. Right?
Yep. And because there's such intensive training that needs to happen with new electricians to wire all of this for the data centers, you're taking those electricians off other job sites where they could be building hospitals, homes, schools.
Yeah.
So you're going to see potentially, you're going to see a constrained timeline and schedule as it relates to all these projects, whether it's a data center or something else, as you continue to pull labor away from existing projects.
Yeah. So we're now dealing with, at a national level, massive regulation for data centers. We covered in the last couple of weeks what happened in Texas with ERCOT. ERCOT services 90% of all electrical capacity in the state of Texas. They had a backlog of about 474 gigawatts. Is that correct? Was it gigawatts? It was gigawatts.
It was.
Gigawatts, which, to give you a sense of scale, that's the most absurd number you could ever think of in your entire life, right? So Texas being the most business-friendly state, taking a more conservative approach and position for data centers, interesting. And I think you're starting to see this all across the board, right? Virginia, even, which is the holy grail of data center development. We're tracking city planning meetings. Shout out GatherGov. If you haven't seen them yet, they transcribe city planning meetings, right? And
into actionable data.
Exactly. So you can query data center moratorium with GatherGov and be able to see which cities are talking about it. And
great prospecting tool for brokers or investors or developers.
Unbelievable. Okay. So shout out those guys. We've been using them to help research, draw insights, build, actionable intelligence for you guys. But you're starting to see the conversations, even in places like Virginia, get turn negatively towards data centers. And so I think that's only starting, and it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And so these data centers, all of this infrastructure that's so necessary and critical to get built out, they're going to need to start thinking about this very, very differently. In other words, they're going to need to figure out how to power these things themselves.
Yeah.
Right. How to supply water in a way that's just not going to make, the San Fernando Valley Brigade freak out. the rush hour resistance.
To put it in perspective, so there are 200 active data centers in California, which represent approximately 1,000 megawatts of peak demand. But a recent forecast estimates approximately 5,800 megawatts of data center demand by 2040.
So that's 5.8 gigawatts.
Yep. With higher scenarios reaching 8,400 megawatts. So that would make the industry roughly 6 to 8 times its current size.
That's crazy. And for reference, I think the biggest data center either being planned or in construction right now is
Texas.
Is it 8.4 gigawatts? I think it is. Which absolutely ridiculous. So that's massive. And I think what we're starting to see is that California will remain the holy grail will remain the brain of AI on the software side of things, capital, talent. It'll remain that won't change. But the factory side of it, right? The industrial pieces to it, I don't see California really making that possible. And so neighboring states, Arizona, Nevada, they're going to see a lot of, I'm going to say, benefits from that, right? Also negative elements to that as well. Lots. The reality is that we're all learning so much about these data centers, what's involved to build them. And I have a buddy actually who's in construction, and they build data centers. And we were out at dinner in Hollywood, which I don't know why I was there. I hate the city, but he was telling me just how environmentally friendly and efficient these facilities are. People just have no clue. They have no clue.
It's our job to tell them.
I'm telling you.
And I think the trend for a while was all these investors and landowners and developers were searching for land that had close proximity to power, electricity, substations, whatever that might be. But the proximity, although that is obviously very important, the biggest issue is, it doesn't matter how close you are to a substation if you can't get the power, right? If you're not getting approved. And there's so many projects in the pipeline right now that are looking to get funding and are going through the city permitting processes. But at the end of the day, they're just going to be ghost projects. So all these speculative landowners that are trying to make sophisticated real estate plays by buying land in the high desert, near power.
Yeah, good luck.
Right? Like it's much deeper than that. It's much more complicated because of all the regulation. The San Fernando Brigade.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you bring up an interesting point. And so there's from a utility and grid perspective, right? You have these speculative data center projects which you don't know if they will actually get approved and ultimately built.
Most of them will not.
Are you going to spend the money, the resources to upgrade the grid, right? To develop the right infrastructure to support that facility when you don't even know if it's going to go online?
Yep.
Right? And then
a huge investment.
Massive. Right? And then the other side to it is right, if you don't do that, okay, and these data centers actually get approved and built, right? Like they're going to be waiting, sitting dark until the infrastructure gets developed.
Yeah.
So you kind of have two sides to it. And it's a really challenging position to be in for these utility companies. So we'll see.
And the developers.
And the developers.
It's so speculative.
For everybody, right? It's like, yeah, once upon a time you get land, you get power, you get your approvals, et cetera, and like you're rocking.
Clifton said it though, the values and the risk.
Yeah.
Right? Who's taking these risks?
The amount of risk for building a data center right now, I just can't even imagine. I mean, look, Texas alone just simply stopped approvals to the grid. You cannot get power until they audit their full backlog and figure out if they have the capacity for it. At any point in time, it's the snap of a finger. And you're talking huge money.
Yeah.
This is such big boy money. Huge. So we'll see. Yeah, I think California is in an interesting position. What is it? The fourth largest economy in the world. So we'll see. Plenty of land. It's huge, right? I'm not sure if they're going to want to play the game of like, let's dominate AI software and let's dominate AI infrastructure. And we know, we've talked about this in the past, but we know that infrastructure is the hot girl at the bar. We talked about this. Okay. Right now, infrastructure is it. Okay. If you're an institution, your allocations are going towards it, right? Or at least there's increased allocations going towards it. And I mean, there's digital infrastructure, there's core infrastructure, there's power, there's telecom, there's so many different parts to infrastructure, right? A lot of people are interested in the power. We talked about NVIDIA, for example, sort of moving upstream.
They're backing a ton of these different data center developers.
Yeah, they are. Because chips need a home. They're creating all these chips, but there's nowhere for these chips to go.
Yeah. The chips are useless.
So, and by the way, NVIDIA coming out with earnings tomorrow. It'll be very interesting to see if NVIDIA can continue to dominate. The question becomes, if you own NVIDIA stock, do you take a little off the table? Are you taking a little off the table? That's the big question. Maybe.
Autonomous construction.
Yeah.
Should we make the pivot?
Let's make the pivot. Wish Mark was coming on the show, but that's Bummer. Okay. We'll get him next time.
We're talking about land development and power and everything needed for these data centers. We are seeing autonomous construction moving on into actual job sites.
There is so much behind the scenes happening with autonomous physical AI, right? Physical AI is out of this world right now. Not enough people are talking about it. There's obviously a lot of people talking about it. In the commercial real estate world, though, it's not being talked about enough.
The algorithms are feeding them to underwrite the deal this way.
Yeah.
Create your marketing materials this way.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Or do this, do that. Got a little comment here from RJ Fisher. Hold on. This is our first interesting comment. I haven't read it yet. I'm in the small bay industrial sector where some of the use cases is last mile delivery. Finding locations near rooftops is important. As Amazon Air gets better and drones start taking off, will they need last mile delivery anymore? How do you think hardware with AI and it will change the industrial industry? Really good question. We talked about that a little bit earlier on. Yeah, I think the definition of last mile is just going to change. Sorry to completely change the subject here, guys, but it was our first interesting question. So
let's go.
Good job, RJ. Thank you. Okay, let's get the chat engaged. How do we do that? That's what we need to do. Yeah, it's a good question. I think that the definition of last mile is going to change, right? Like these last mile facilities, maybe they become, these, maybe there's smaller footprints, maybe there's more of them, right? To just be able to accommodate like these incredible drone logistics involved with autonomous delivery. So, I'm not totally sure, but overall, the first asset class I think that's going to be affected from all of this is industrial. Like that's just it, right? You're talking about infrastructure, that's industrial. Okay, you're talking about drones and warehouses. Okay, and getting that merchandise and everything into the urban core, that's industrial. Okay, so
I'd make the bet that Amazon has been planning this out for quite some time.
Yeah, they know better than us.
Yeah, and their facilities are already designed in some way, shape, or form to accommodate drone delivery. My other hunch is that at some distance, some proximity from facility to customer, it might actually make sense to do human delivery. And my hunch is on like the very short, close deliveries, where the brain damage of using the drone to go a quarter of a mile might not be as sufficient as just putting your delivery in a car and dropping it off.
By the way, I think the fastest delivery recorded so far from a drone was 86 seconds. Can you imagine?
I might be wrong.
No, I'm serious.
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I might be wrong.
Oh yeah, no, it's nuts. But no, to your point, like the approach DoorDash is taking is more of like not just like, oh, we're just going to do drones, et cetera, but we're going to build this operating system that intelligently knows like what's the most efficient, cost-effective way of delivering these goods. Yeah. Whether it's human, whether it's on-the-ground robots, whether it's drones. So it's not just going to be the drone show.
And that's the AI behind the scenes determining what makes the most sense.
Exactly. But no doubt industrial is going to change. It is going to change. Okay. There's companies like Adams, for example, Travis Kalanick's company. The whole vision is just to automate the industrial sector. Okay. Robots. Okay. And these industrial facilities were always created with people in mind. Okay. Obviously that changed with Amazon and the Walmarts, the Costcos, et cetera, of the world. That's changed. The new age industrial facilities, I think, will be a little bit more purpose built for the machine, for the automations, for the robot, right? Like we've talked about this in the past too, but if you have a robot, look, I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm 200 pounds. Okay. Like I'm a little big right now. Robots might be 600 pounds. And so the question becomes, okay, your flooring, your concrete, does it need to be thicker to be able to support that? Right. Like how does all that work? So these are considerations that every industrial facility will need to have and accommodate for it in this, new kind of autonomous world. So the logistics side of it, I'm not sure I could speak so intelligently on, just because, companies like Amazon, for example, like that's all day long. They know, right? So what they're doing, I assume is the right way to go about it. I'm not totally sure about last mile. I'm not even sure if it's going to be called last mile anymore. It might be called last 100 feet, last 200 feet, right? Just who knows? But I do see a world where the footprints of those may be a little bit smaller. I do see a world where there might be more of them in some of these urban environments, more dense environments. Time will tell. I could be totally wrong.
RJ, use all this for prospecting new clients, right? I mean, there's so much to talk about.
There really is.
And your owners that you're probably prospecting have no idea what's going on.
How do you know he's a broker?
I did a little research.
Oh, okay. You are very good at that, sir. Good job. Very good job.
Yeah. So I think share our video.
Yeah.
Share our show.
Share it. Autonomous construction. Let's get back to it. Okay. This is something I'm really excited about. Physical AI, first off, I'm excited about in general. Okay. But autonomous construction is starting to get a little bit of traction, which it never has. We still build buildings the same way we did 100 years ago.
Yep.
It's actually pretty insane to think about. Now, the reason is because construction is like the most ridiculously difficult thing out there, right?
It's labor intensive.
Coordination.
Yep.
Logistics, material delays, scheduling all of these different vendors and subcontractors, etc. It is a total nightmare.
You're dealing with the earth.
Yeah, you're dealing with the earth. You might find some dinosaur bones. You might find whatever. Could be anything. Okay. Construction is just so difficult. We all know that. There's nothing new there. We are now starting to see autonomous construction cross a threshold that it never has. And that is, okay, machines are actually doing work on active construction sites without humans operating them.
Without humans in the equipment.
Forgive me. Let me be more clear.
Yeah, because there's some nuances here, and we can go into what Bedrock is doing.
We're going to talk about 3 different companies.
Yep. Okay? Bedrock, Terra Firma,
and Gravis. They all focus on site excavation. And you have big machinery, massive equipment, okay, that humans, for the most part, have been operating, right? These big excavators, you're digging up dirt, and you're putting it into the truck, etc. Bedrock, Gravis, and Terra Firma, okay, are all going after that same thing, right? Excavation. And what they're doing is they're retrofitting. Well, let me take a step back. They all kind of have a different approach to it, but Bedrock, for example, is retrofitting your existing excavators.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome, right? So if you're a contractor, you own your machinery, Bedrock is going to come in, which, by the way, it's 2 founders were part of Waymo, for those of you guys that don't know, but Waymo does driverless cars.
Yep.
Okay. So these guys were very much involved in that process. So what they're doing is they're going to come and take your excavator. They're going to retrofit it with their software, their technology. And those excavators will be able to work autonomously. Okay. That's Bedrock's approach. Gravis's approach, I hope I'm saying that right. Gravis, whatever. Which, by the way, they just raised $200 million from SoftBank. They're worth over $1 billion. And really exciting stuff with them. Their approach is that they're trying to build the brain for all of these big machines
to be interconnected
and kind of operate through like one internal network.
Yep.
And it's the same idea that you take the machine and you retrofit it with your technology. Okay. But I think the better way to kind of describe it is like, I'm going to butcher this. It's not even a good example, but like they want to be like the Yardie of like all the big machinery. Okay. They don't want to be
they're all talking to each other. So like, if you think about like the typical construction process, right? You have all your trades, you have your subs, your GCs, everyone on the field coordinating with one another, bossing people around on what to do. You have your whole schedule and plan in place, right? But what they're trying to do is have all the machines talk to one another. Is that the right way?
Have you seen Toy Story?
It? Yeah.
Similar concept.
I don't understand.
All the toys talking to each other.
Got it.
Shouldn't happen, but it's happening. I watched Toy Story 4 the other day. Big Disney guy. Sorry. But no, yeah. So that's their approach, right? Is they doesn't matter if it's Caterpillar, Deere,
yep.
This owner, that owner, right? All of these machines being able to just effectively work with one another. Your dump trucks, your excavators, your bulldozers, right? All of them. Okay. Super exciting. Terra Firma, on the other hand, is basically just saying, hey, hire us as the contractor and we're going to come in with our semi-autonomous technological
They're going to act as the contractor.
Exactly. But they have autonomous infrastructure as well. It's a little bit more semi-autonomous. By the way, Terra Firma's big goal is to be able to operate these machines on the moon and on Mars.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They also raised $100 million.
All these guys raised massive amounts of money. Not sure when we're going to raise $100 million. It might happen sooner than we think. It might not happen at all. I'm not totally sure. But anyways, all of these companies, okay, are starting to service active job sites. Okay. And we have yet to see data around cost savings, although one of these groups, I forget which one, talks about like 30% efficiency, whatever the hell that means.
Gravis reports gains of up to 30% over peak manual operation, while Terra Firma says one operator can become up to 3 times more effective. Neither figure has yet been validated across a broad independent sample of projects.
Yeah. It's almost like the construction machinery is getting its car moment, right? In other words, like cars over time have been less about like the engine and V6 and V8, and it's now more software, right? Like
how big's your screen?
How big's your screen? Do you have full self-driving?
Yep.
Right? Can you do Apple CarPlay? It's all about software, which again, not a lot of people are thinking about. Okay. And now like similarly, the construction industry and specifically the heavy machinery, it's the same sort of idea. So it's going through its car moment at the moment.
Yeah. My head just goes to, and I'd be curious to see data around it, but the safety precautions and all the concerns around safety issues, right?
That is no joke.
Can that be potentially alleviated? And I don't know from like industry to industry, what the damage is from like a safety perspective or injury count as it relates to construction versus something else. But I'd have to imagine it's the highest, if
it's
not.
Very high. No, construction, the big issue, coordination. You're trying to coordinate a million different things,
especially
on one job
on
site.
Huge projects.
Yeah, no, it's but look, safety is the biggest priority for all these guys. Now, with the machinery, okay, I think the idea is that humans' role in all this is really just going to change. Okay. And so instead of one skilled operator working this excavator, can that same skilled operator work 3 excavators?
Yep. Same thing with the drone concept, right? Can one individual monitor 20 drones?
Well, remember, Zipline's fully autonomous.
Yeah.
I imagine all of this it'll be the same thing. Prime Air, all these guys. Okay. But so can one human instead do more? And I think that's the overall theme of AI at this point. It's like, so there's this expectation of increased outputs with the same amount of inputs. Okay. And so that's the approach with this as well, is like, can that guy who, let's just say you pay, or girl who you pay, let's say $150,000 to, okay. Instead of having 3 of them out there, which that's directly part of your general requirements and general conditions to the overall construction budget, can we effectively get rid of $300,000 right out the gate and have just one person operate those 3 machines? Okay. Now,
is that really substantial though? At the end of the day,
your general conditions and general requirements are very substantial.
Yeah, I'm more talking about if you're just reducing labor to.
Yeah, it's substantial.
To some degree. I'd be curious to see though. Like if one person's now just operating 3 different machines, that's not the biggest cut to the budget at the end of the day.
That's $300,000. But
if you have one individual operating the entire job site, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, we're not there yet, and I don't see in the near term at all these robots and autonomous things happening like throughout the whole job site. You're not just going to be having these robots that do excavation and then putting in all the footings and laying the underground plumbing and electrical, et cetera, and then concrete and framing and dry. I don't see that as the kind of practical near-term thing happening with AI, but instead it's more using AI as like a brain for the entire job site and helping to alleviate and minimize the coordination issues that blow these job sites up.
Minimize risk.
Okay. Minimize, Joe Schmo, the electrical contractor, forgetting that he's supposed to arrive at the job site at 10 a.m. because you're supposed to pour concrete at 1 p.m. Right? Like these are all things, just coordination, which
it happens all the time.
Timing and budget. Okay. Like that is construction. Quality, timing, and budget. That's the triangle. You can only do 2 out of 3 of those really well right now. Hopefully AI, autonomous software, et cetera, can help us do more. But But that's where I see AI having the most profound effect in construction in the near term, is this brain, which effectively is the project manager of the job site. Okay. Helping to schedule, coordinate. If this issue happens in real time, sending it to that person, RFIs, dispatch, whatever it is. Okay. But I think site work and excavation makes a lot of sense to start with, right? Just because it's relatively safe. In terms of like,
it's also typically the first thing they'll deal with right on a project, right? So it's just hitting it one by one.
Yeah. And and if there's time savings in the beginning, right, from site work, let's just say it's 2 weeks, that pushes the whole schedule forward, which that's great, right? But yeah, so AI, for example, could then look at, hey, there's 2 weeks of savings from this, for example, which means that there's going to be 2 weeks on electrical, and then overall 6 weeks that the job should be able to get 6 weeks of advance of savings. But for excavation and site work, it's like, you put up your fence, right, for the job site, and then you could just have these machines sort of just doing their thing within the fence, and there's not a whole lot else going on.
Yeah.
It's pretty repetitive work. Hey,
great.
Dig there, right?
Robot.
Yeah.
Dig.
Exactly. So it makes a lot of sense there, right? And I think there's going to be a lot of specialized like robotics as well. You're already starting to see it. There's like robots that help snapping lines, right, for framing, for example. There's a lot more specialty robotics as well in construction. Construction's super interesting as well. You have like cameras in your helmet, for example, and you have advanced security measures for the job site, like facial recognition. So it's a super exciting time, I think, for the industry. It's going to be very slow, even more so than just commercial real estate, investing, acquiring assets, managing, that sort of thing. But it's the sort of aha moment in construction. No, seriously, I think it's really
it might be faster than commercial real estate, just from the sense of like the cost savings that could be drawn from all this, and just the safety. It's such a priority for these construction companies, and you're going to start seeing a lot of software too. I mean, I know we're talking about just the machines right now, but like Adaptive Build, for example, is an AI native accounting software for construction where they have the AI agents talking to the field all the time. So you're never backlogged on your numbers in your books. And to your point, you're going to see the same thing, like the AI supervisor, right? The AI GC, who's going to be leading the charge on the schedule, the budget, etc. And hopefully then talking to all these autonomous robots at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm super excited about physical AI right now. I think just autonomous delivery, autonomous construction, autonomous everything, like name of the game. A lot of people, especially in commercial real estate, are just, how could I use AI to, underwrite this deal faster? And I'm thinking like, oh my God, like how could I use AI to like big machinery and construction sites and have these robots build this whole freaking building? But no, it's moving fast. It's moving very much behind the scenes. You're going to start to see a lot more of this, especially as AI becomes more capable, right? People learn more about what it could do, how to leverage it, how to use it, and the best of its abilities. We're just scratching the surface. So no doubt an exciting time to be alive. And I'm sure for future episodes, we'll cover a lot more of the whole autonomous things happening and with physical AI. So
quick shout out. Terrakotta. Today's show has been brought to you by Terrakotta, the AI prospecting platform for commercial real estate brokers, investors, and operators and service providers. And shout out to Lev. They are helping commercial real estate professionals become superhuman. They build apps, agents, and data on a unified platform to help commercial real estate companies grow.
Shout out to Lev and Terrakotta. Yeah, so let's close it out. AI is becoming physical infrastructure. Drones. I called this. Jake Heller will, by the end of 2026, be able to order a burrito here in Los Angeles via drone delivery.
You'll be able to select, I want it delivered by drone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Big time. No doubt. That's how quick this stuff is moving. So super exciting time. Will California be able to host the infrastructure associated with servicing all of this AI, right? Probably not. Will this national regulatory risk get resolved for data centers? Probably not. Will data center development become the riskiest yet highest reward project?
Definitely.
Absolutely. So, learning a lot. Thanks for bearing with us with all the technical difficulties in the beginning. We will see you guys next week
For episode 5.
Is this episode 4?
Next week.
Yeah.
Yes, episode 4.
I'll be live from New York City, by the way.
Nice.
But we'll see you guys then.